Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, the knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who were wise then, I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, flame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Saviour having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the one gone to thusness I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime reality, to the Dharma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and who also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts. To you, the sublime community intending virtue, I prostrate. Homage to the Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all 3 ever devout homage. To all worthy of respect, bowing with bodies as many as all realms, atoms, in all aspects, with supreme faith I pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the foe of faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Page 15, the Heart of the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. I prostrate to the Arya Triple Gem. Thus did I hear at one time. The Bhagawan was dwelling on massive Vulture's mountain in Rajagriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Bhagawan was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound perfection. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, and beheld those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then, through the power of Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara: how should any son of the lineage train who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra: Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly beholding those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form. Form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are emptiness, without characteristic. unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness. No eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind. No visual form, no sound, no odor, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element, and so on, up to and including no mind element, and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awaken to unsurpassable perfect complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as a truth since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared. Kayata gate gate paragate parasam gate bodhisoha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Bhagavan arose from that concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom, just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Bhagavan having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharadvatiputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding in their entirety along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Bhagavan. Page 25. O sa shi phuke chukshen me tok tram, ri rab ling shi ni de gyam pa di, sangye shing du mi te u a gi, troku nandak shin la cho pa sho, jitsun la ma dam pa ke nam ki, chuku ka la kien se chen jik ne, jita tsam pe du che zin ma la, sa pye chuki cha pa bab su so, Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Niryatayami.
Sanje Jodon Soji Chonan La Janjo Bada Dani Jas Dagi Chichin Jibe Sonam Ji Dola Benji Sanje Dovara Sanje Jodon Soji Chonan La Janjo Bada Dani Jasum Dagi Chichin Jibe Sonam Dola Benji Sanje Dovara Shu Sanje Jodon Soji Chonan Chanjo Bada Dani Jasum Je Dagi Chujin Jive Sana Dola Benje Sanje Dobara Sho Kange Nizame Dawada Jipa Tabeshin and the Gonam de la Jadelo, the Union Jason de Jovela, she is the Kanjitin Chana Vemodin de Jazola, the other Shindelun to show, but the Vela Bush. Dagi Chibur Bemejone, got in Chimbergon edges on the Kusanto Jingo de so changes in Jeremish. Majevana Javanya Mevaya, Conegon de Jis. Oh, that Kulon come this Japshiro.
So we'll do a motivation meditation to start with.
How we need rejoicing, we are so lucky this practice or start together, Tathagata essence. How we will do breathing exercise 20 times. Oh yeah. 다 so 독스레. 다 단다 줄라마게. so 주제디다 디시고요. 릭 산제지 릭 사지 아니 두고요 다저 로 다 산제 그 두고 짬 말이다 디나라 아니 산제지 릭 가래 아니 릭세베 탑 가래 와 아니 릭세베 따 가래 다저서 단다도 두슬리고요 다 릭세니 릭세 릭세도 닝지 전부 줄지거든 대과 전부 릭세로 안데네 닝지 전부 줄지네 안 찬주가 셈 줄지 티징 솔람 안 티징 졸람 톤람 권람 밀람 스투스chen 루고여로 한다데 시르닝 번나데 예도가 나데 타가데가데 바라가데 바라상가데 보디 소하세스토 어디에 대야 타스데 가디가데 스디 송시 있으러 파르드 송시 파르드 양다고 송스타 당보 가디가데 사데 초람 졸람체 초람나 송 졸람나 네 파라상가데 사데 다다 다야다 가디가데 파라가데 사데 통람체 파라상가데 사데 공람체 아니 보디 사데 밀로란체 소하사데 시족스타 어다저 독스체제 람그도다 림바디 다 차장직 디나라 셰게요다 대버치메 줄람 타과르데 디나네 아니 릭담 말에다 네 람냠네 칸산지니 데라야 라마슈 칸산 안 람라슈베 칸산 아니 산제 시제다 심제 가사라 로 탐제 주 뒤나 대전 숨나라데 라마슈베 칸사 람라슈베 칸사 아니 산제 시제 독스 대전 숨나다 기능 로성아
So we've been looking at this Uttara Tantra or Sublime Continuum text, and this is focusing primarily on Buddha nature or Buddha lineage. But not only the explanation of Buddha nature or Buddha lineage, but also the methods to develop it and the signs of developing it, and the measure of developing it. And you're going to di tikchimbe rig se di
닝제 첨부 줄
이는 치단기 체 가르침서
지단체 샤무르다 대과침부 릭세베체
Okay. So there's also measures of having developed it. So for example, the method, the sign or the measure of having developed the Mahayana lineage is the development of great compassion. And also we talked about various other things such as the paths of sentient beings. So for example, when you go through the Heart Sutra and you talk about the mantra Gati Gati Paragati Parasum Gati Bodhi Soha, this first gate represents the path of accumulation. The second gate represents the path of accumulation. Parasum gati represents the path of Paragati represents the path of seeing. Parasum gati represents the path of meditation. And then Bodhisoha represents the path of no more learning. So it not only talks about the nature, this Buddha nature and or lineage, it also talks about the path, and we also discussed the three types of beings. So the three types of beings are the beings who have not engaged in the path, then there's the beings who have engaged in the path, and then there's the fully enlightened beings. So this first type is I think they call it ordinary beings. Tambo di sosokibu. Lamashuk, sorry, no, beings that haven't engaged in the path. Sosokibu chikpamare.
Lamashuk Lamashuk. Dixon. 다디네 니 통람 다 기승은 조람 통람 조람 다 통람이 내가서네 돈인 웃음데 통제 니다 먼저 디레다 다디 디나라다 돈인 웃음도 왜 람덴다 거기엔스다 최근조 시기도 하네 다 최근조게 연den계서 안데네 디귤은 배간산들 긴두군조 스로 다디네야 지제 아니 통람 권람들이야 아니 사주 디게 상모 긴두군조다 제단다 초군조다 긴두군조 군조숨이 남샤데 페진 데 카세오당 약 타지 약마 dewa 약슈 소다 네 대고시 뭐디 유라면 안에 셰바 드리면시 슝신다나라 디스티즈 요르미 근데 제보 당 안에 카세보다 근데 요마 제당도 남바산제베다 추 이 직군조성 남샤야고 신구구이나 디 가족디 야고 직군조성 아주 진이당 제주계에서 제제요 하고도 제대하고 신 하고르디 군조성이 남샤샤라 람가슴 초람절랑 통람관람도 예게 남샤디 시오라 이시는 아니 어다 추군조 대래 다디 가르 겹고요래 가르 편도 지금 유매도서 신부이나 아니 아주 신유다지 낭바세야디 컨데지 건 그거 유매디 하고라
So when we talk about the five paths and we get to the path of seeing, at this point, these beings have developed a direct realization of emptiness. And then they have the truth, the truth of cessation and the truth of the path in their mind stream. And they also have the 8 qualities. And at this point, then they can become what is called the Sangha jewel. So anybody on the 10 grounds is considered, any of the 10 grounds is considered the Sangha jewel. So there's a special quality of this text, the Tathagata text, or the Sublime Continuum, that clearly explains the 3 jewels in a way that other texts do not. Of course, other texts mention them, but this has a very clear explanation or a very good presentation of what the 3 jewels are, their definitions, their divisions. It also talks about different aspects. So it's important to know things like this. Like, for example, it's also important to understand what the 5 paths are. Because if you understand the 5 paths clearly, then you can really understand what the Dharma jewel is. You can also understand what is considered like a Buddhist path, what it means to be, what Buddhism or a Buddhist path actually means.
다디네 사주체 사주네다 밀로람로와 밀로람 산제주구 다 산제주구데라 아니 산제에서는 봐 디페진 이마진이 되는 거도 산제에서는 갈라고라 산제에서는 상세데 아니 녀몬보나 시제 디와탐제 상 매부체 된데다 라미제외 추진상 양자 주용야게 코가 매부스르다 상스디 배 매부스르다 제세야디니 시절로도 탐제다 차단신고 데마니 모버질로 도바타데 건조 숙동보 동반이 소소 시기도 이 군소 덴바단 전난덴바 모버직 도바타데 먼저 단다 삼로 알레 동반이다 여마르다 내가 이내 저 군소 덴바 전난덴바 베데 모버타데로 시대와 메든 여러 가지 건조 진디가 여러 지왕기다 건조 내단 신기요 말와 다 돈이 되나 다 녀러 저도 안에 군소 덴바단 전난덴바데 모버직 도바타데 다 신부이나 안디 갈래다 먼저 셈나게 남도 트나망부 쉬우지 디네 소고였다 디니 군저된바단 전단된바디 카가에 뭐 타대 임베서저라 되게 안심 그 트나망부 쉬우지 디네 용되게 여러 제산 속동보 동반이 수사야돼 산제에게 신기요라 제가 제도 무슨도 신기요다 셈바마세 안 렌데가 남샤도 다시 타와 신기요다 렌데가 남샤 제가 데 예세야 상계세야 될야다 뇨모모 단 시제 디워탐제 파상 니 윤된 디게다 지글렌데 남샤 타모토즈 신야당 동번이다 전단된바 군소된바다 전단된바니 모지글로 도바타데 무슨데 신기요라 어디 저기 윤된도스 추니 된데고 윤자 예세 상계세 될라 상계세요 레스타
So then, after one completes after the 10th ground, after the final ground, then one becomes fully enlightened or a Buddha. So this word Buddha is Sanskrit. The Tibetan word is Sangye. So it actually has 2. It's a conjunction of 2 separate words. So the first one's Sang. Sang means to clear, to cleanse. So what is cleared? It's cleared all the delusions, all the obscurations, but in such a way that they can never return, like it's completely eradicated them in such a way that they can never return. And get is to have developed all the qualities, so to understand the way things exist, to understand the two truths of one nature but different designation. Now, for us, or for ordinary beings, I should say, we see these seem quite different. Like the ultimate and relative truth seems to have quite a different nature. But as you come closer and closer to emptiness, you start to understand that they are actually one nature, but just different designations. When you're caught up in this relative truth and seeing it as quite different from ultimate truth, because of that, then we make many mistakes. We have many problems because of this. And so this is a special quality of the Buddha to fully understand that. But also there's other qualities that are unique to a Buddha. For example, only a Buddha has a full understanding of karma, the law of cause and effect. So again, just to clarify, this sangha means to have cleared away all the obscurations and delusions, and to have developed all the qualities, to have a complete understanding of emptiness, to understand that the two truths are of one nature but of different designations. So this kind of full understanding is unique to a Buddha or enlightened being. So when we then look at the body of the Buddha, we can say there's 4 different bodies of the Buddha. Okay, so starting with the nature body of the Buddha. So we can say this nature body or svabhavakaya, or Noa Niku. So svabhavakaya being Sanskrit, Noa Niku being Tibetan, is permanent. And this is the permanent body of the Buddha. So the definition of the nature body of the Buddha is the ultimate sphere possessing the 2 purities. And when we talk about these 2 purities, there's the natural purity and the adventitious purity. Oh, okay. Sphere. The umarang tenju. So this word sphere in here, like this final sphere, is this emptiness. Right? Now, according to the Prasangika school, the truth of cessation is the Majjhimika Prasangika school, this truth of cessation is emptiness. But according to the autonomous school, truth of cessation is different from emptiness. It's not emptiness. Yeah, it's rather so. Tombani. Okay. So for the autonomous school, they see the truth of cessation as relative truth. Okay. So then the 2 divisions of the nature body of the Buddha are the aspect of natural purity that becomes the nature Buddha, and the aspect of adventitious purity that becomes the nature body.
다 진시샤 example 샤인데 라신나다 쳐줘 원이 그때 가르샤그래라나 산제기 딩기 심기 딩기 추니 심기 딩기 동반이데 아니 라신나다 쳐줘 원이 그 진시레스.
Okay. So the definition or an illustration of the aspect of the nature body that the aspect of the natural purity that becomes the nature body is the emptiness of the Buddha's mind.
다디 좀 델라 란신남다 알라고 그래. 와 란신남버 타고 알라고 그래서나. 다 란신남도 타고 와서 아니 랑신세 동반이를 샤로 넘버 타고 란신기 넘버 타고 레를 심기 등 동반이데 아니 템버투와 넘버 타고 템버투에 오마이자 아니 코란 데만에 란신기 코란 오분이 있다 빼나 산제 파워지 심기 등 추니데 네 템버투에 타고 당은 저주지 심기 등 추니 템버투에 타고 켜요 말 지구직이야.
So the natural purity, when we talk about this natural purity, what are we talking about here? Well, we're talking about emptiness, and in this case, the emptiness of the Buddha's, the emptiness of the Buddha's mind, or the lack of true existence of the Buddha's mind. Now, when we look at something like this, we could say that this emptiness of the Buddha's mind and the emptiness of an ordinary being's mind, like ourselves, would be the same nature. No, it's right? It's the same. Sorry, not one nature. It's the same. So the emptiness of an ordinary being's mind and the emptiness of Buddha's mind is the same.
다나 산제기 유 생구딩 중요이데 아니 구 산제 구창 언저디 산제 마차고 가려서나 제가 탈두고 꿀랍송하데 진이 있으면 다관인단데 ing 탈두글랍송아 제가 산제기 유지 아니 생구딩 중요이데 탈두고 꿀레스 먼저디 탈두고 꿀 말에 당연히 내가 표면 딥데요 와고 누구 표면 딥데 요인자 산제기 생구딩 중요이데 아니 탈도 꾸레스 탈도 꾸데 가서 산제를 거라 어디 파제로 그러다.
However, you could say that the emptiness of the Buddha's mind is the body of the Buddha, right? And this is where this, in the definition, ultimate, or you could say final. Final is another translation for tato. So the ultimate or the final nature, right? Or the ultimate sphere or the final sphere. This is what defines it as the body of the Buddha. Ours is not we can't say our body is ultimate or final, right? Because we are still contaminated by stains and so forth. So we can't say we have this ultimate body or this final body.
다 니버디 루남다 쳐줘 오뉴고도 가래 라위나 진시디 아니 산제주지 미네베 냥데 곡된 산제주지 곡된데 루베남다 쳐줘 오뉴고레 스타데 제산 루베남다 랍송아 녀몬바다 시제 디버디다 탐제 루루버레 티마루버레 아니 티마루데 파 메버스 라미 예베 최전 대단 타고 인자 아니 산제주지 곡된데라 루베남다 쳐줘 오뉴고 스타 호두스라레스.
So then the next one, the aspect of adventitious purity that becomes the Buddha body. So this is the truth of cessation within the mind of a Buddha, right? And this is achieved by the purification of all the adventitious stains. So this adventitious purity here, I mean, it's the same word as with the other one, but it has this connotation of having purified all these adventitious stains.
다디 산잠 수는 수규라 열에 꾸디니스나 다 산제가 사오나 산제 코나라 열에서 들어.
And so this is said that so it's only a body, only a Buddha has this. Only a fully enlightened being has this body.
다디네 다 꾸니바데 롱구인다 롱구로아 롱구.
So then the second body is the enjoyment body or the Sambhogakaya or Longcho Giku in Tibetan, or Longcho Dzogbeku.
다딜라 진이 가르스나 예방안된게 수구타둑사 예방안된데 수구타둑스.
And then the definition of that is the ultimate form body possessing the five certainties.
당 예왕아데 가래라도 아니 내게와 내게와 당보디 내게와 오미 코너 슈바스르와 오미기 내세죠 산제 내게와 오미 코너 슈바스.
So then when we look at these five certainties, sorry, the first of these five certainties is the certainty of the place, or the perfect place. And this is like the pure realm of infinite light. So this is the place of... Yeah, so you could say like the pure realm of infinite light. So it's this pure realm.
다 되네 꾸게와 꾸게와레스 꾸라 가랑에서나 꾸라 아니 천단 배제 천성부 숨주자니당 배제 성부 야주 된데데데 인상 텔레야다 롱구스타 롱구 천된데 저래단다 지진 드마다 그래서 그jen도서 천상게 천대로와.
So then the certainty of the body. The certainty of the body is having all the major and minor marks of the Buddha, right? So it's these images of Tara we have here, possessing all the major and minor marks of a Buddha. That is the certainty of the body.
The 천상보 숨주자니여레 숨주소니 32 천상보 배제 겨주.
Okay, so the 32 major
천상보 숨주소니.
Yeah.
배제 상보 겨주.
And the 80 minor.
어디시? 다 코르 다 추시에서 코르죠. 수리라나 장신 파고 샤다. 그 농구대기 최대 뒤제 최송사대 장신 파고면 해요 말다.
And so then with the retinue or disciples, it's only Arya Bodhisattvas that are taught.
다 추 가르친 것은 추디 티징이 추지냐 송거다.
And then the certainty of the teaching is only the Mahayana Dharma.
다 뒤즈 가르쳤나 뒤용해와 코 마동 파도 다데 슈고여다 내디 용고여다 코와도나 고야요 뭐라고 코와도나 찬스파고 해요 뭐라다.
And then the certainty of time is until the end of samsara. This will continue on until samsara is finished.
그래서 파진태고에게 산제사디 네 딜 오미도 보고 메싱엄 딜 산제 거다. 먼저 단다 미켈란저와 다사 사야 사주발레도 주주베 산제나 신도 텐도고요. 사주발라 아니 켈롱 넘버 10 주주나 딜 타당한조 검제 되게나 안테네다 셈고네데 오미라 도고 오미라.
Okay.
오밀로 뒤쳐체 산제도 다 고랑 두바 망보여와 되벨 미요레 지 가사 쿨라 두베다 찬주 사주바들 두바 당래 되버대요 인상 아니 오밀라 디 가사 쪼디 오밀레 되거다 오밀레 디그 두바 윤조 상마 아니 산제도 상마님도 산제로 다디 파진 되고 산제나.
Okay. Mahayana. So according to the Mahayana tradition, it said that all beings attain enlightenment in this pure realm of infinite light.
Sutraena.
Oh, sorry. Teaching. Yeah, so the perfection vehicle or the Sutrayana vehicle. This is according to the perfection vehicle or the Sutrayana vehicle. So, for example, like a monk would be able to attain up to the 10th bhumi, 10th ground. So this is very similar to a Buddha. They have incredible abilities and can emanate many, many forms, or many, many bodies. And at this point, they would emanate a body that would be in this pure realm of infinite light. And at that point, where all the other, all the Buddhas, it said, will get enlightened in this place. Through potentially an emanation.
먼저 상상라디 chanju sembe기 윤된 체주도 때데스 로나요 세나요 여러 베나 찬셈 조람 톱디네 조람 트제모 세와 도안에 트당 제모 저거 도와네 왜 책 덴베 책세 좀 책과 배나 매든데 바데나 나는 매드 책들데 매드 파실라나 매 중앙라 가지고 책직도 책 덴베 책신이 되어요. 데이터 가라서는 왜 계좌 배제 계좌 정보세 냠네 배 정보다가 제대로 요인자 안에 가리나 누가 전부 차용 거라 안에 사당보 레드다 할래보다 배류 자담 같은데 뚜도고요 류 자담 다디네 야야 사니오 선발레데 류 납자 동다다 뭐 사주발레드 딱 산제다 노래야냥가요다 사주발레드네 그러나야 천당 상 천당 배제 지든 같은데 요로 류래야 천 유도다도 연된 와 연된 도서 너도 살람 나라게 요로 와 살람 로 살람 하고라
Yeah. So it's important to understand the various aspects of these 5 paths. So first of course is the path of accumulation. Then one enters the path of preparation, which is the heat, peak, forbearance, and final place in samsara, or Superman. Okay, that's it. The Superman. So at this point, even at this point of the first of this path of preparation, this heat, then the words that one speaks, the abilities one has, like the abilities with one's speech and so forth, has incredible benefit, has incredible power. And then as you go up and reach the path of seeing, then at this point you develop even more abilities. Like at this point you can emanate 100 bodies. And then at the second bhumi, or in the third, it goes 500, 1,000. So by the time you reach the 10th bhumi, you have, incredible qualities, like a simile of a Buddha, you could say, and very close, able to emanate many forms and have incredible abilities. So all this information is taught in Grounds and Paths.
다 산삼데 아니 다 요로 대 산제살아요다 산제살아.
And so then after that one reaches the ground of Buddhahood.
다디네 구숨바데라 두구라 두구.
Okay, so so that's the enjoyment body. Now moving on to the third one, the emanation body.
다 두구라 당기 치들이 예왕하다 미덴베 수고 다두스와.
So this is it's the Buddha body, form body that doesn't possess the 5 certainties.
타두구라오다 타두구.
Oh, sorry, the ultimate.
Final.
Yeah, the ultimate or final, thoroughly distinguishing form body that does not possess the 5 certainties is the full definition.
두구들레나 여숨제와. 여숨제. 당보디 소두구.
Right.
소두구라나 페나 딘데레다 두바딘제와. 두바딘제 아니지 강보선이 더든데다 야지 주다 아니 추다 아니 강바당 아니 삼바당 칼라다 다딘데 다면다 망볼로 두고요로 데라 소부 두고서거다.
So then this emanation body, or Namanikaya in Sanskrit, or Truku in Tibetan, has 3 divisions. The first one is the architect emanation body. So this needs to be understood as manifesting as like bases or things, right? So for example, this could be Buddhas can emanate as a number of things. They can emanate as birds, they can emanate as water, they can emanate as houses, things like that. So all of these would be an illustration of the architect emanation body.
다디네 겨워두글라디 ini kisuk ta pena be mi jawa da thumba jawa la pena ngazo ta jawro ma chen ro che jawro ma chen ngazo chen re sik thon la chen re sik de ina mi thame ga namba che mi ame khobwe na la ching ngazo da na shi ma jawa le an su bu de thang thame na shi da kisuk da thumba che ani du je ge thon chi ge yo yin za de la ya da jawa du gu la wa.
So then the next one is the birth emanation body, and this would be a Buddha manifesting manifesting as going through an ordinary birth as, say, like as a human being. So the Dalai Lama would be an example of this. He was conceived in a mother's womb, took birth to appearance in an ordinary way from his mother, and then went through these various stages of life and so forth. So this would be what one call a birth emanation body.
다디 미지고 말다로 둔둘레 둔두의 개발lenje 둔치고요라 봐. 둔두 계속도 둔 개발lenje 둔데 다 산제레 둔데 용고.
So this, for a Buddha, this doesn't have to be just a human being. They often, they can be born as animals and go through this birth emanation process as an animal and so forth. So it's not just human beings.
다디네 숨바디 초우두글라데 초우두고서야데 다 gelong 남바체 제와 중에 된 당보 김난네베 제와 개와 리베 제와 데네 랍드 주베 제와 데네 까와체베 제와 데네 산제베 제와 데네 중고고베 제와 데네 냥엘레데베 제와 와다 딘데스팅고라 제와딜라 아니 딜라 초우두고서요다.
So there's the supreme emanation body, which is that which performs the 12 deeds of a Buddha. So would be emanating as a monk and going through the 12 deeds. So birth, renunciation, enlightenment, teaching the Dharma, passing into final Nirvana, and so forth. These various deeds that a wheel-turning Buddha performs.
다 zambuling dila zambuling di chakwane 다 mewa machawe parula 다 나로게 심제도 교회슈도 그러데 뉴욕이 직된데 아그란 대제 디나라 아니 초구도 동라지 연구에서 거라 다 단다 시바 들어가고 남들 시바로.
So this supreme emanation body in this world system, this planet Earth, I guess you could say, although, of course, the sentient beings within it will go through many changes and human beings might manifest in different aspects. In terms of what the Tibetan word is vessel, but in terms of as long for the time that this particular planet exists, then there will be 1,000 of these wheel-turning Buddhas throughout the time of the existence of this earth. And so there'd be 1,000 of these supreme emanation bodies.
And the Shivadiris, Dombashajedo, number 4.
And the Shakyamuni Buddha is the fourth of these 1,000 Buddhas.
Jemedi, Sanje Chambe Demba Yungu, Sanje Chamba Jemele, Tajadomashajedo Nashi Yang, Kimlanebe, Zewache, Rabdi Chondu, Chejan, DJ, Mamba Sanje, Yaga Dojidin Ranji, Sanje Donzaji, Sanje Donda, the Chazam, Chodu, the Sanje Zewa Densadi, Jaga Dojidin, Daga Dojidin,
So the next, of course, will be the Buddha Maitreya, who will come after Shakyamuni Buddha, and he also will manifest these deeds of a wheel-turning Buddha, and will attain enlightenment in Bodhigaya. In fact, all of these 1,000 Buddhas will attain the enlightenment in Bodhigaya and in India, and so this is why Bodhigaya is said to be this incredibly holy place or powerful place.
Tadi nganzo pena tamba jumden degi zebe surjigra nyunyunchilabi pena daja tamba shajedo ne chago hungore la kholo phawasongora jidu chogru zeba dengorwa jidan tu chigbu chigjanla hojo pejire la jagal hojo la ya tugo ga ju songore da tadi dire tugu so tugu de tadi tugu namba tenrabe tugu tenje torada 다저 dombasejedo 콜로 바와 자국 무를 송으라 단다 셔셔데 셔러닝보도 콜로 자국 무를 최송고여라 일단 뒤도 찍고 찍잖아 뒤도 찍라 일단 뒤도 찍라 아니 야갈로 줘라 두고르게 나 저거도 송고여라 산지 두박 거제
상나
단드릭 백 teaching 두고 갈라자그라.
So, this Shakyamuni Buddha, when he turned the wheel of Dharma and like he taught one time the Dishishiben Nyingpo or something.
네, 가사디 싫어냥보 걸로 봐봐.
Oh, okay. When he taught the Heart Sutra, he had a retinue of Arya beings. Ini di Kala Chakra Songkapla, di Yanka Chipuru.
I think I can try English. Then you can do English translation.
I got a little bit lost.
You know, second, this house of the teaching in Wajapi. At that exactly same time he taught in Kalachakra in South India. He did it, Sanjay Xeva didn't it? Sanjay Xeva.
Yeah, so simultaneously as he was teaching the Heart Sutra in Vulture's Peak, he was also teaching the Kalachakra. Yeah, simultaneously.
제가 다 nga 파진 대고 동반이다 nga 그래서 다 뒤져 믹스에 뒤져 레타 와 산제랑 레단 저야 고유니 대화유니 드절라면 쉬지게 승부요 말이야. 정말로 등산한 시지제 요 말이야. 정말 근데 인터넷을 창고다.
If you were to receive teachings on emptiness or teachings on Tantra from like Shakyamuni Buddha, it was only because you had a very special karmic connection, very incredibly special karmic connection to be able to receive these teachings. These days they kind of just, chuck it out there for everybody to listen to, right, or teach it to everybody. But in those days, it would be very kind of only because you had a very special connection, a very strong connection.
저기 저 배디 public chat 하나 저기 진압 냠도 쓰기도.
So if there was like a public teaching,
too much public.
So it's too these days maybe too much, and it means that the blessing has maybe declined.
This and rindang value rindam mecharo.
Oh, okay, yeah, and it's not. Ringtone is like precious. It's not valued or seen as precious.
Well, 먼저 C le rindang 전부 지역하래. C 공부로. 다 C디 빼디 매도 단시 C 배우이나? C le rindang 요 말해. C 가와인 좀 가와니. 세 배우이나 셀린다 요 말에 세 공부성상 셀린다 되고 되나시 먼저 최대 상과등으로 최저도 제 최자신 분들서 시라 public 치타나 린당 라도
So if we look at why something is seen as precious or why something is valued, it's because of its rarity. Like for example, gold we see as precious, but that's only because it's rare. If gold grew where it's around like flowers or grass, then it wouldn't be precious. It wouldn't be, because it would just be everywhere, and the value of it would decline. And it's the same with the Dharma teachings. Now, because it's just out there, and you can come along and it's not seen as rare or precious anymore.
어디로 다디 초루지 구슴지. 다 상담대 산제사고 나는 시요 말했지.
Oh, right, sorry. So these
the Sanjay Salmashio Marelauda.
So this emanation body is the ultimate body, in that, of course, unless you're a fully enlightened Buddha, you don't have this body.
다디네 구시와 이시주고 사데 제다와단 진이와 김발라는 시고 타도 캠바스라고다. 캠바스. 다 제다와서도 동반이 진이와서도 군주된 바들 시고 타도스도 다 덴바니 모질라 동과 타도 셰된 여기 아니 캠바 타도 셰바 타도 되라 아니 다 이시주고 사데 시고 다 산제주의 생위는 게 산제주의 심들 산제주의 심들어.
So this wisdom Dharma body, or the Dharmakaya, or in Tibetan Yeshi Chogiku, is defined as the ultimate knower clearly apprehending the way things are and the way that they appear. So, it's a final knower, and knower in the sense that it clearly understands the way things are, which is ultimate truth, and then the way things appear, which is relative truth. So this is when we talk about seeing the ultimate truth and relative truth as one nature, different designations. This knower is what clearly understands that.
어디다 제 치다와다 진이와 침베서 치다와 동반이 지들 아싸 딜레나 상미시 디자인이 직사던데다 요래 산제에서 산제에서 상미시데 나 뇨모메어서 상미시 디자인이 직 사던데 요래스요 산제에서 상미시 디자인이 직 상미시 디자인이 직
Okay, so then there's two
예와 숨주 뉴시다직 상미시 디자인이 시다직람 디아다죠.
So then there's two nishutsa chigure.
상미시 디자인이 시다직 요래스.
So then there's 21 divisions of this unstained wisdom.
다 점점 산제사고나 요래지. 다들 쌤 산제주 쌤들이 다 산제주기 시와에 있는 이시주기 미캡다 된다도도.
So if we talk about the mind, this talking about this ultimate knower is said to be the mind of the Buddha. So if you talk about the mind of the Buddha, then it has to be this wisdom Dharma body.
다드네 틸레야 되නවා 이시주기 틸레 스된 드마신 제단 산제주 구틸레 송구 틸레 투구 틸레 사야된데 틸레 망고 쉬우지다. 난다 귤레메 다리나라 틸레데 마 제고 쉬우지도 다디 테링 템레로 지제 이시주기 틸레 되나 마 데스셰 샤고스라.
So now we're talking a little bit about the enlightened activities of the Buddha. So, there's many different enlightened activities of the Buddha, such as teaching Dharma and the various activities of the Buddha. But we're going to talk a little bit now about the bodies of the Buddha.
Body, speech, and mind.
Okay. So now we're talking about the enlightened activities of the Buddha's mind, or of the Dharma body. Yeah, enlightened activities.
어디? 다 진이 가르샤어서는 랑게 줄주베스로 이시주고 다겐체월에 주면 난거지 유연된라도 랑게 줄주에 이시주고 다겐체월에 중앙서 다디베 고기 첨보래 다 단당하란서 대 단당한서 아니 단당한서 노정한테 줄라마데 이 산제 좀 된데 이시주고 다겐 말다 다디 지준 참복건보다 믹세래 디아 믹세지를 당도 말아도다 귤라말라다 두졸라 롭전 체나 마음바 산제 참박이 템발라 맞아 저와체를 다른 거라서 믹세게 간저게 래 야고 싶지 사요 내가 가르사야라나 단단한 저기 롭전 체야디 지준 참박건배 승신교 최로와 지준 참박건배 승신교 최선은 지준 참박건배 이시추국의 진례래
Okay.
당 안저게 단다지 산제기 직당 아니 산제 군조 카레 초군조 카레 군조 롭종 체 진이신 치자와신 제게 생각도 망보 산제기 직기 자와신 율라마도 신 아니 치글라 삼단 제와디게 이게 간저지를 개와여로 간저베 가와용거도 와라 산제기 직든데 이준 야보도 삼스슬 셈나라 가와지고도 와디 개와르 개와 디르베 개와디기 유진 쪼디 카레 지진 참박공부 주기 남진의 이시추 지진 참박공부 주기 아니 셔바데르 다 셔바데게 아니 틸레 먼저 당 안졸라 산제기 틸레 주고 한다.
Okay. So when we look at this enlightened activity of the Dharma body, then the definition is the pure qualities that come from having developed the empowering condition, the cause which becomes the Dharma body. But to give an illustration of this, for example, now we're studying this text, the Sublime Continuum, and this is originally taught by Maitreya. So it wasn't a teaching from Shakyamuni Buddha, but this was actually taught by Maitreya. And therefore, by studying it and understanding, we actually create a special karmic connection to Maitreya. And this teaching, of course, was the enlightened activity of Maitreya. And if we listen, if we study it, if we contemplate it, and we start to get some understanding of the meaning of this Buddha nature and so forth, and then we start to really feel joy when we start to understand it, and start to rejoice in this, and that creates virtue. And this virtue that's created is an example of the enlightened activity of the Dharma body of Maitreya. So this would be the enlightened activity of the Dharma body of the Buddha.
제가 이시주고 틀레들라 예원이샤도
Yeah. And then there's two divisions.
차와 유라 예바스와 차와 유라 예베 틀레 차와 불라 예베 틀레 차와 유라 예바스도 먼저 주지 개와들 당저 시라닝부터 좀 된대지 아니 시라닝부터다 아니 나다다 된대게 아니 저 냠레다 암절로 내게 직 터베나 디 개와 파자 시작으로 디 개와디 긴 손이 진이스레 다자도 뭐 샤제 되게 이 셔버들다 되다 자와 유로 요스티 먼저 줄래 요 개와들다 두제 줄래 요
So then there's two divisions of this. So there's the activity possessing the object of the enlightened activity, possessing the object of activity, and then the enlightened activities of, you'd say, the engager or the doer. So the first one is the virtue the object of the activity is the virtue we generate in our minds due to the enlightened activity of the Buddha. So, for example, we create a virtue based on, for example, hearing the Buddha's teachings. If we hear the Heart Sutra, if we hear teachings on emptiness, or we hear teachings on Tantra, then through hearing this, we create this imprint, these virtues. And these virtues in our mind come about through the blessing of the Buddha. But these virtues in our mind stream is the first, this enlightened activities possessing the object of activity.
다디 다 여와 망보제 열라 디 애니 지커서 그래 틀레 고르도 단다 줄라만나 제부 쉬지도 와 말로그나 길다이디 제당 트즈 말하면서 흘러시제 막 야고 갈래라 도고이나 야고 쉬도 다디 베저 저랑도 로브지고 다 거역하고 그러시디 그러 말로브지고기 디 거역하고 쉬어리셔 다들 때문에 들어시지 되네마 치카시지 틀레게 다 산제기 툭 틀레로 이시 주고 틀레 상황은 되네마 치카시지 셰고스로서 줄라마 자와.
So then when we look at the Chabagi, the Trinity Chigma
네, 저벌레 예배 틀레. 저벌레 예배 틀레데 산제기 줄레 예배 틀레드레스.
So then when we talk about the enlightened activities of the doer, then this is the enlightened activities within the continuum of the Buddha. So the first one's the virtue in our mind, the second enlightened activities of the doer, that's from the Buddha. Now there's many, when we talk about this enlightened activities of the Buddha, of course, many different examples and divisions and so forth. But it's actually quite well presented in this Sublime Continuum, or the Uttara Tantra. And it's good to read over it and read it slowly, but reading alone, it's difficult to understand it. So, it's good to get some explanation. So we'll go over it a little bit. Unfortunately, these verses are not in the text because it's only the translation of the first chapter.
They don't have translator.
No, I looked for like an hour and a half before I realized that it wasn't the full translation.
Meaning the yellow. Meaning the yellow.
Yeah, no, I have it here. I managed to find it online and download it, and so no, the yura.
다들이 자와들이 치다야지 뒤는 뒤인스러 로도 부슴 속외규 추위 풍부 배매와 살라준데 배바 따라서 딩딩저셔도 치다라 야게 뒤수스러 야가라 내가도 뉴질랜드 야가라 차와파고 말으러 켄자로 그거 디 야가다 배도 저들라 야가 차왔단 그래요. 군거 강단 그래요. 야가 차와요 말이에요. 뉴질랜드 야가 차와요 말에 야가 감부감기 마우 차고 디페데 뉴질랜드 말다 야가다 페다 두절레스데 시다야지 되나 띵지로 띵tim버팁 아니 차와 파그러와 차업함을 가려 연구해서는 아니 로도 부순 속고 연구로 와서 신가도들라 추배워만 맞죠. 안텔라 사간라마 밤에 가려 연구래라나 아니 로도 된데 망부시죠 연구로 와서 다들 배들이라. 배대체 당고.
So then the verse, it's verse 321 in the text. In the rainy season, clouds continually and effortlessly pour down vast amounts of water onto the earth and are the cause for good and bounteous crops. So this rainy season, or you could say monsoon, New Zealand doesn't have this, right? Like we have, I mean, this is in summer, in like India and Tibet. In summer, it buckets down, basically. Like there's a whole season of rain. Here we don't really get, in summer it doesn't really rain much, right? But in Tibet, in summer it rains and in winter it snows, so you've got to deal with all situations there. But for us, we don't have this rainy season, but the analogy still holds true, right? In New Zealand, even though we don't have this, we can understand that, this rain, at this time when a lot of rain falls, this is what helps to bring about mature crops or bring about bountiful harvest. Because of course the rain goes on the ground and then the ground absorbs the water and then the plants can then make use of absorb through the roots of the plants and then the crops can grow. So this is one analogy that's used.
다 된다들 디신라도 대난신 배대난신 디신 투지 진례니세 계획 탐주 추이 차르서로 드베 계획로도 넘버 도과 메바 법스 제가 디신도서로 산제지 투지 정보디 산제기 투지 정보 인지 정보디 찜바나시레서 봐 찜바나시 딘단 배자와 아니 디마다 산제기 인지 정보 도기 계획 탐주 최마송으로 봐 최송바디 아니 딘바법 아니 차와법 차베 주규마도로 아니 주균도네 아니 로도 부순 속고 여와디 배가르트는 원동일이 원동을 하다미 고마토야단 겨왔다 아니 일이 타바도 탐제 김배 고마토야 주부순 속고도 아니 넘버 또가 매워서다 유저 넘버 또가 매워라 배워디 제가 당저 아니 뒤제 줄이야 주미지 남도 당 아니 다 똑바도 이나 저가 딘지 저가 똑바도 좀 매가 제제 아니 뒤제 줄이야 겨와 봐 그러다 주미지 남도 매나 디기 용으로 봐 디기 겨와도 정말 세대게 디기 용하다 세대시게 요 말에 겨와시 멍원들 함이 공부토야다 안 타와도 탐제 김바토야도 창마다 산제지 투규기 인지 첨부들에 마 송신교지를 했지 저건 디타마 산지 틀레레서 틀레 단다도도
So we could then it goes on the next verse says likewise clouds of compassion without any conceptualizing rain down the waters of the victor's noble teachings and cause harvests of virtue for sentient beings. So in this the analogy of the clouds is like an analogy for the Buddha's compassion. And then the various enlightened activities of the Buddha, the blessings and the teachings and so forth, is analogy of the rain falling, right? And this and the virtue, and the virtue created is for sentient beings is like the harvest. So any pure causes beings create to attain a positive next rebirth or liberation or enlightenment, or things like that is seen as the crops or this pure virtue. Now, through the Buddha's enlightened activity, it allows sentient beings to turn away from some mistaken beliefs or erroneous beliefs or activities. And when one stops these mistaken beliefs or activities, then one's mind generates virtue. And then any cause to obtain any positive, pure result from a next rebirth all the way up to enlightenment is seen as this harvest or the virtue that sentient beings create.
같이 어디 직직도 tillasho. 시다 직딩 계획 남중나스. 아니 롱제 추절 딩게 배웠다스. 시다 직딩라 당저 산제 송여로 소주 방고래서 소지겨 말에 차와지겨 말에 아니 겨와치고 그래서 개외람나 주바나 아니 롱내 제버와 차와답지 롱데스 고고요 롱데스면은 차와 timbo 요도 말와 그다음 롱틱 롱망타나 timbo 토도 롱틱 잠니 timbal레데네 아니 차와 디 아니 차바고라 대난시 아니 지다 대초에디 산제지 다 소주 방고래 아니 준시 요 말에서 저 미게와도 방고래 겨와체고래야 되게다 디톱기 아니 심진 줄야다 gewe lamla chugya tinde yungu yore tuzu sangma sanje ki chile reso.
And then the next verse starts off, provided that the world is engaged in virtuous ways, the wind-borne clouds will cause a fall of rain. So, when Buddha's teachings are not not abandoning non-virtues such as not killing, not harming, and then beings naturally, and then the advice given for beings to engage in virtue is seen as like this sort of wind. And for rain to fall, you need a little bit of wind. Obviously, like we don't want a hurricane blowing or something like that, but just a gentle kind of wind will cause the rain to fall, cause the clouds to move and the rain to fall. So, when the point where beings stop engaging in non-virtuous activities and start engaging in virtue, this acts as like a wind that allows the Buddha's blessing, or facilitates the Buddha's blessing, you could say. Not blessing, enlightened activities.
Tishin zilung doge ngwan pe chi sanje dinle tamju chejar bab sumda a dinan shu pena nganzo dinle rawa lung le timba chung timba le chawa bab ne ene duje gylo de lodo jeba dinan shin ene zewe lung gyo ne wa chom den de gida zewa sanje gi zewe lung gyo ne an nganzo dowe gylo ya da ngondo khongbe de doya ani jik chö da kada jik 수림 좀 진바단 서버 공야 딩딩 도저게 냠len 도저 네 공배데 용야 도저 창마 산제지 툭지기 아니 다 간다 다 틸레레 디도게 간절로 중된 교지레스 산제 툭지 틸레레스 땅 안조 산다 안조 마란조 깨워 상보레다 안조 산제기 다 학과도 디링 단대 죄제데 산제 참배기 틸레 안조 롱제기 여기인다 산제 다 지든 참바당 안조 대화하고 쉽지 써요다. 대화 추억이 대화디 상승 대화래 야가 추억 대화디 깨와 망볼라 대화 차도 거래. 왕아란도 세부도 베세부도 단다도 뉴질랜드 미든데나 부드즘라나 카시 아데 로맨스라도 두줄라 레 메베다된 거. 대화 메베다된 거. 가라와 카시 어디 부드스탠다 나 로맨라도 안 카시에게 단다 최저로 타릉릉 돈에도 달래 최 먼저 다 대들어 가서 다 디르바가서 최저로 도메다 진짜 nhập도 다 배제신 가보도 아니 최저로 대화제 기겐 대화제 최 진짜로 만도 고 맞아 배제말로 제가 그도 봐 유지 그래서 달래 독자사고로 레 독자사고 개와치마들이야 타릉으로 아니 다 주링보 타면 다 단단한 대화 서비스나 깔래 요르다 베나 디자인이나 공다 치고를 용거래 까마 나센도와데나 까마 십주리 까마 뉴슈 까마 숨주 모다타나 츠 용거를 파도거래 레라오면도 알아 이내디 깔래 잡아디 베 대화하고 서다 제메 산제 단단한 산제 맞으면 제메 산제 잠바 피운디 딱딱 고나베 송주 요새들 가서 레투다 추기 더 차로 배야고 대야고 쇼를 또 가서 개와 가와 공부를 또 가서
So it goes on then to say, likewise, the wind of compassion causes Buddha's clouds to cascade their rain of true teachings to increase the virtue in being. So, this wind, through this wind of this virtue activity and then the rain of the Buddha's enlightened activities, then this harvest of the beings creating virtue can come about. And this is all said to come about through the kindness or the kindness of the Buddha. Through the practice of morality and so forth. It comes about through the Buddha's enlightened activity, through their great compassion. And so, for example, today when we're studying this text, the Sublime Continuum by Maitreya, we create this connection to Maitreya and to the Dharma and so forth. And this is very important. Like creating this connection to, through studying the Dharma is incredibly valuable. And said this Dharma connection is better than like a material connection or a physical type of connection. And we're very fortunate to do this. Like many people now in the world sort of say, oh, Buddhism, that's kind of rubbish. I don't want anything to do with that. And this is very difficult because they're not creating a connection, they're actually getting further away from the Dharma. So it creates a lot of problems. But of course, creating this positive connection is not easy. It's difficult, right? Like you have to it's difficult, and a lot of people sort of don't sustain this kind of thing. They might come a couple of times and then think, oh, the teacher's no good, or reading's boring, I don't want to do that. And this type of thinking actually creates negative karma or obscurations for themselves. So it's not easy to make these connections to the Dharma, right? It's not easy to develop this connection. It's a long way to come to the center. If you live in Nelson, it's a long way to come. So you have to make a lot of effort to kind of make it here. But it's incredibly valuable or profound, the connection that we're making. For example, studying this Sublime Continuum by Maitreya, if by the time Maitreya comes and teaches, if we haven't already attained enlightenment by then when he teaches, we'll have this incredible connection to be able to receive this blessing in his teaching.
제가 베나 지랑조레다 로 나가라이레다 겨울무치 달래라마다 겨울무치 둥주다 사과되다 제르무치 된거 그런지 스스 배드메베 터네 먼저 대화 차트베로 그래서 먼저 겨왕아마 지고 말 겨와 망고라 깔레 잡산죠 되고 차대로 다 단다 이네 먼저 딜 가오곰 양겨르데 면남잡 가오곰 아니 믹세 다지 라마당 니지 다자도 바샤제 투바당 니지 제르모체다 다 라마자벨라마 그래서 상마 오지과 이 되는 상마 지과 오지과 가딩 찬 냠바 이 되는 그래서 면남잡 지선 참바곰보 그래서 면남잡 딱 산제 탐제 면남잡 어떤 데 제나 아니 다 레하고 싸우라 대화하고 차와 대화고 대화면은 가고르다.
So when we talk about us here and like myself as well, we have this incredible fortune to receive teachings or have this connection with the Dalai Lama, and on top of that, or more beyond that, also the teachings of Lama Tsongkhapa. However, this didn't come about without a great deal of effort. Right? It didn't just come about like poof, magically. It came about through effort in our previous lives, and not just one life, but actually many previous lives. We made this effort to be able to have this connection. So we should feel very fortunate and actually rejoice in having this wonderful opportunity, but also to make prayers and aspirations to all the Buddhas, and in particularly one's Lama. And it's important to see one's Lamas and the Buddha and Lama Tsongkhapa as one nature, no achieved, like one essence or one nature. And we should continuously, as much as we can, make aspirational prayers to Maitreya and in fact all of the Buddhas to help develop this connection.
당에디 주란조 면람라고 심나네 면람요 이게디 태고치미 주일라메 딘조 고데마 딕슬로고스라 먼저 대화샤 뭔가.
So for this reason, I'm going to like with this aspiration to make this connection, I'm going to read a bit this Tara Tantric text, Sublime Continuum text, in order for us to develop this connection.
Tathagata Mahayana Uddara Nandara Shata Shas Pugade Tewa Chamber Gulame Danger Sanje Danshi Sambadangela Chatse Losa Zawadi Sanje Chuzo Kamdan Chanju Dams Yunde Sanje Tinle Tamadis Danger Gunji Lune Dordun Doje Yini Nedun Dida Kosa Doje Yini Nedun Dida Kosa Jen Dogo Jen Yogunjo to Matsulasho Doje Yini Nedun Dida Kosa Tadina Matewa Chevshu Dida Ranzini Jenda Kurim Chishin Siji Gewe Doro Ling Shileni Nesum Richard Shini Londe Gechu Chel Vele Satsing Sambujil Shah Satsing Sambo Les Dewa Mangwashington Rijin Sungala Deve Tanya Chizu Sanje Le Chule Pakbe Tsole Ningbo Yishi Kamto Bar Yishi Tedo Chanju Choto Simjin Gundun Cheju Namdang Den so that's here I wish to desha.
Okay, so that was a particularly profound verse.
Oh yeah.
Stop here.
That Tuayre. That Tuayne Tuadila.
So the middle way and the mind only school is Buddha nature the same for both schools. So Sem Sambatan Umaba di Sangigi Rig Chikpa, right?
Yes, do just send you good you don't have it.
Yes, it's the same. That which is suitable to become a Buddha. So yeah, to become a Buddha. Sangiku, sorry, the body of a Buddha is the same definition for both of them.
That you know the Ranjini the death Stagmare.
So when we have the two aspects of this Buddha nature, the naturally abiding lineage or the naturally abiding nature, you could say this is slightly different for these two.
And the Disharwa Sami Simji 7 the any Sami Simji 7 Ranjin Cheju Kewa Sumden Saji Keju Sumdan Dembe Sami Simji 7 the Ranjineri Sharwa
Sagmi Simgi
7
Umapa?
Simzama Ranjineri.
The mind only school for this naturally abiding lineage says it's the seed of the unstained mind.
Tadi Umatinju Umaranju Umatinju to the Yina Umatinju Yina sing with the Chuni de la Ranjineri Sharwa. Chuni Tongwani.
So for the Madhyamika Prasangika school, they say it's the suchness or the emptiness of the mind is this naturally abiding lineage.
Dichawa the dimension Sanje Rang Riksha, the Sanje Kujurung said Chikpareta. That the same Zambale troop that is Menda Yore, that the Ratashan, Jeme, Doshora.
So in general, you could say that that which is suitable, or that which will, you could almost say that which will become a Buddha, is said to be the Buddha nature. However, there's a difference within this naturally abiding nature or this naturally abiding lineage. And when we talk about the mind-only school, then this is not, like there's many different viewpoints within it's a kind of collection of a lot of different views. But to go into all of it is a bit too much.
Onzo Rigla, Serala Rigla Pejin, Onzo Zoba, Rig Jolam, Dao Tu. So full star.
This nature or this Buddha, this lineage, we would study and debate for about 6 months.
Rig Jolam, Rigla. Nga de Dirwa Gush Chandez la Pidi Tangbo de Rigla to Rigne. Guchandez and Pidi Tangbo Rigla. Rig Pidi the Torah. 그 천대를 무슨 때 비리 당고.
So the first teaching I got from Trungpa Rinpoche was this.
천대를 무슨.
Sorry,
천대를 무슨.
Chomden Rinpoche was this nature, this teaching on nature.
At that time, the especially Lord's sutras was, and some other people very difficult explaining the sutras was, and the Chande Rinpoche, he looks very easy. He make it very easy to explain. Fast recognize this one. How many years now? I received maybe 15 years, more than 15 years. That is how.
Did you have something? So so you gave differences for the natural abiding lineage, but is the generating lineage different as well? So the umabatan sense of rangshingi kebayureda, the gembegi reg, the chikure chikuman.
Genjurigla chikbari töso se tabat negadala genjurig shara. Töso se tab töso töbatan sama. The genjurigla de re töbatan samba gombage pa se tamjo de la genjurigla ra.
So now the generated lineage is the same for both. This tosamgi
se tab.
So tab. So the method for listening and reflecting. Did I give the?
Yeah,
I can't. I don't want to get it wrong, but the definition is the same for the generated lineage.
Is there a question?
No, it's not a question. There's a question.
We can send it out. I got here definitions of all the bodies and the enlightened activities and everything, so we'll just...
And then you can send people.
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh, I could... it's pretty fast. Yeah, Kerandi long... Tena deni verse katsu na te any concept.
Long
Yeah, Kerandi page this law, right?
Tangi lonjot.
Yeah, so Shalaka kari law.
Oh, really?
Tinga te tanda gyona kaligabado.
Jona pare ba jara.
Oh, the
tangi loya de tangi pare njot.
No, the Tama de Kerang on this page law.
Oh,
you mean the verses? Yeah, the long. Tama Kerang di long te, right? Long deste.
Long ramare de godine ma lo.
Okay.
Kema chunanzu lo shande godine ma lo shande.
Okay, so he was just reading from the start down.
Ole tam go shase de mes.
But the root text, right?
Root text.
That's why he was just reading the root verses, not the commentaries. So just the very beginning. Start with verse 1 and keep reading. And I've also in the handout there's these other verses that we explained tonight. So, and I've got, if anybody wants it, I've got a PDF of the whole Sublime Continuum, if they want. Okay, so we stop here.
Short.
Due to the merit of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha, and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May the supreme jewel bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish, but increase more and more. Whatever slight positive potential I may have created, by paying homage, offering, and acknowledging my faults, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddhas stay and teach, I now dedicate all this for full awakening. I dedicate all these roots of virtue with their dedication praised as the best, by the victorious thus gone of the three times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. May the King of Dharma, Tsongkhapa's way of Dharma practice flourish. May the omens of obstacles be pacified, and all the conducive circumstances be complete. The wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world. To the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. So for the snowland teachings and transmigratory beings, who makes extremely clear the path that is unification of emptiness and compassion, to the lotus holder Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. You who uphold the subduous moral way, who serve as a bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjanath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplish magnificent prayers honoring the three jewels, Saviour of myself and others, your disciples, please, please live long. By relying on the two accumulations of myself and others in the three times, may the teachings of the conqueror Losang Dragpa blaze for a long time.
Next week we have exam, isn't it? Just test. Questions clear? Questions? Okay. All answer clear?